Hey, in this video I'm going to talk about versions and how you can tell the versions of your element groups or designs from both elements and from element groups available in ACE Data Model API queries. First of all, talking about element groups, we have mainly this query here. This will return to us one element based as long as we have one element group ID. And just like that, we can retrieve element groups from one hub, from one project, from one folder, and in all of these cases, for any of those queries, we will also always return one element group. So let me pick just one as an example, and I'm going to add a query to retrieve the element group at tip, and to use this query I need to specify the element group ID. Let me bring one from this project here, and let me work with this one right here because I know that this one has two versions. So let me use this as the element group ID, and in the response I will have my element group. Let's see what we can retrieve from the element group object. Then we can take advantage of this field right here, this nested query, version history. And once we use this, we are going to obtain the element group version history. So let's add this here, version history, and inside that we can access all of the versions, and for each one of our versions we can retrieve its name. Let's use the version number, and the created on. If we run this query, we can know all of the versions available. If we have more than the maximum amount supported by one request, we need to address pagination, but that's not the case here. So we know that this specific design has two versions, and we know the dates where these versions were created. Okay, so now we know how to retrieve versions from element groups, but what if we're querying the elements and not the element group itself? Let's go from this query right here. In this case, let's use the element at tip, and not element at tip, let's use the elements by element group, and in this case we need to specify one element group ID. Oh no, let me use the same one, this one right here. Now we pass this element group ID, and this will return to us a list of elements from this element group. Okay, let's add the name here, for example. And now, since we are using this query elements by element group, returning the elements, and for each one of our elements we can then obtain the element group. Let's go over here and retrieve the element group, and from element group it will be the same as we did previously. We retrieve the version history, and inside there we have the versions, and for each one of our versions we can list the version number and the created on. If we run this query, for each one of these is exceeding the maximum amount of points, so that let's limit this query to only retrieve the first 50. And now if you run this query, we can now see the element groups from these elements, including the version number for each one of the versions of this design. Let me add here also the element group name, so now we also know the name of the design that originated this element. Okay.